Hey, it's Zach from Us versus Herd, coming back today with another video. So what I want to talk about today is some more credit factors. So this is a little more of an advanced version of what I talked about yesterday. So if you want, you can check my other video out. It's basically how to build credit without having any credit. That's the beginner version, and this is going to be the more advanced version. And I'm going to try to simply explain credit factors, or some of the big ones and some of the minor ones, but all of them are factors that affect your score as a whole. So again, I'm going to give the scale for the credit scores and what's good and what's not based on what your score is. So like in between 300 580 is very poor, 581 to 640 is poor, 641 to 69 is mediocre, 700 to 750 is good, and 751 to 850 is excellent. And like I said, some of the big there's 3 credit scores actually from different institutions. FICO is the most important one. That's the truest credit score. And then you have the TransUnion and Equifax. All 3 of these scores could potentially be different. Just they report different things at different times, and they keep record of certain things. Whenever you're looking to get a loan or something from a bank, they're going to be looking at your FICO score primarily. They won't necessarily make decisions on TransUnion or Equifax. A credit card, if a bank is trying to issue you a credit card, though, they may use one of these instead of FICO to make that decision. But if you're getting a loan, most likely they're going to use the FICO. So here's some of the credit factors that are important to note. So the age of your accounts, so meaning if you have like 5 credit cards or like in one loan. So the age of your accounts, so one account is like one credit card or one loan or something that you have open with a bank, or they issued you a line of credit or a loan. So one big credit factor is the age of your account. So if your account is like 1 year old, or let's say you have 3 of them, and one is 3 years old, one is 2 years, and one is 1 year, they'll take a average of the age of all 3 of those accounts. So what that means is basically when they average it out, that'll be the age of your accounts. So they'll average out, they'll take all the years, so from your oldest account to your newest, they'll average out the age of all those accounts, and that'll be how they adjust your score based on that. The number of your accounts is major. You don't want to have like just 1 or just 2. It's good to have a lot, like 6 or 7 accounts open. You don't want to have way too many though. You don't want to have like 20 or 30. Now that gets intense. Having like 5 to 6 would be probably a good, but does have the age of your accounts does have a pretty major impact on your credit score. I've noticed that my credit score can't go as high as I would like it to, only because I'm young and my accounts haven't had time to age yet. So my credit score cannot ever be a perfect 850 until the age of my accounts grows a little higher. So this is just one thing that is a major influencer on your credit score. It's more a passive credit factor as opposed to the rest. The rest are more right up front. What I mean by that is like it's an over time thing, not something that you can fix right away. You have to just wait for your accounts to age. And that being said, that's why they always tell you that you should never cancel your very first account credit card, because the average age of your accounts is only as old as your oldest account. So like let's say you had 3 of them, and one was 5 years old, and one was 2 years old, and one was 1 year old, and you canceled the account that was 5 years old. The average age of your accounts now will only be based on the second oldest, so one that was only 2 years or 3 years old. In that example I believe I used. So you never want to cancel your oldest card, and you don't want to cancel a card that you've had for a long time either. That being said, you have to keep those active and use those once in a while. Another credit factor that's good to know is the total amount of credit issued to you. I would say it has a minor impact on your score as a whole, as there are other things that have a more like abrasive impact. But this impact is also, like I said, a little more passive. It's a little more over time, because the more accounts you have that have higher credit limits, the more credit line you'll accrue. So what I mean by total amount of credit issued is like, let's say you had 3 credit cards and one had a limit of $1,000. one had a limit of $5,000 and one had a limit of $10,000. That would give you an entire credit line limit of $16,000. And so what I mean by 15 to 50K, that's what would be considered a good, not excellent, but a good amount of credit issued to you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be on one card. It's the total amount of credit issued to you if you add up all of your accounts. Like I said, if you had one credit card that was 1,000, one credit card that was 5, and one that was 10,000, your total credit issued to you would be $16,000, and you would be in the good category. You'd be right in here. And like 50 to 100K plus would be like an excellent category, but we don't necessarily have, not everyone has the access to that kind of thing. That's because you have to, when you apply for credit cards, they ask for your income and stuff, and they check your score, and they do all that stuff and make sure that everything checks out. But if your income isn't that high, they typically don't issue you really, really high credit limits, and that's just the kind of the way it is. Because your ability to pay back, if you were to, use all, let's say you had a credit card that had $50,000 credit line, and you made $30,000 a year, your ability to pay back, if you had maxed that credit card out, which no one would ever give you a $50,000 credit line, assuming that you would never max it out. But if you did, your ability to pay it back on a 30 grand salary a year is really low. That's the idea behind that. So it doesn't have a major impact, like meaning if 1 month you get a credit card and it goes up, you get another credit card and it's $5,000 credit line and it goes up, increases your entire credit line issued, it's not going to impact your score like the very next month very much. It's going to be a little bit here and there, but it's not going to be like major. Another thing is inquiries. So what is an inquiry? Basically, that's when you go and you apply for credit somewhere. So if you apply for a loan, if you apply for a credit card, anything like that, the banks pull what you call an inquiry or a hard inquiry, meaning that whenever you do that, it's noted in your it's noted on your credit score and your credit history, and it's good for, it stays on your account for 2 years, but it'll only count against your credit score for 1 year. So basically, if you apply for a credit card, and even if you get or don't get the credit card, the approval for it, the inquiry will stay on your account for 2 years. It'll only count against your credit score for 1 year though. So it's good to have a good range is 1 to 2. But if you have, I've had at one point like 5 to 6, 7, and I've noticed it didn't really impact the score that much. It has a minor, meaning like if when the inquiries fall off, the score doesn't go up majorly. But if you have 1 or 2, I would say keep it into that. Like when you apply like to rent an apartment or something, they do a couple inquiries because like the electrical and like companies and all that stuff, and they check all of that. So you get a couple or 2 or 3 inquiries when you go rent an apartment or something. So keep that in mind, that you're not always going to stay into the 1 to 2 range. It's not going to be 100% easy, but it is possible. And then this is a major delinquencies. So what is a delinquency? So what I mean by delinquency is that basically, when you are late on a credit payment, or you fail to pay back what you charge on a credit card, you have what you call a delinquency, meaning the payment is late, or they never received the payment at all. So what happens then is that your credit is going to get hurt really, really bad. It has a major impact. One delinquency can drop your credit score several points. So basically what you want to do, best way to prevent a delinquency for me, I've noticed, is I pay the full statement balance, meaning I only pay off the entire credit card balance that I spent. So I only spend what I have on credit cards, and I keep them automatic payments. So meaning every month, the entirety of the statement balance that I owe, the entire amount that I owe on that credit card is paid every single month. And I put it on an automatic so that I don't forget, so that they're all on the automatic. So I don't think about it. I just only spend what I have, and that way you keep yourself free from delinquencies, and you don't have to worry about anything at all. So I would say be careful if you are looking into getting a credit card or some extra credit cards. if you're not going to put on automatic payment and you're not going to pay the full statement balance, I don't believe you should be having a credit card whatsoever, because delinquencies could mess up your credit score for a very long time. It's hard to get back what you've lost at that point. It's easier just to stay on top of it, to get in the game and be in the game on the top of your game and not have to worry about it. So credit utilization. So what does credit utilization mean? Essentially, credit utilization means, this goes back to how much you have issued to you. So like, let's say you have $15,000. Well, let's say you have $10,000 issued to you, right? And if you use, let's say you use $1,000 of that, that's 10% utilization. So you're utilizing 10% of the entire amount of credit issued to you. So if you have $10,000 and you use $1,000, you're using 10% of your entire credit line. Now, if you have $50,000 in credit issued to you and you spend $1,000, it's much less. But for the sake of numbers, we're going to say you have $10,000 in total credit issued to you, and you utilized $1,000 of that, which is 10%. So like I said, this is a major impact. If you use 50% or 60% of your entire credit line, then your credit score is going to go way down. It's going to have a major impact, because it shows that you're using money that you may not have, or you may not pay it back. It's a major red flag to credit issuers. So a good thing to keep in mind is you want to keep it under 10%. You want to keep your credit utilization less than 10%. So if you have $10,000, you want to use less than $1,000 of your entire amount of credit issued to you. That way, you keep yourself free from losing any unnecessary credit points on your credit score, just because you spent too much money that you didn't have. On that note, you should also be careful about how you pay your credit cards as well, because if you don't pay them off the full statement balance every single month, then your credit utilization will often be higher. Since I pay it back every month, the utilization resets on each account resets back to 0 every month. So my credit utilization goes back to 0% every single month, because I pay off the entire statement balance. If you pay off the entire statement balance, then you're also not paying interest. Remember that as well. So these are just some of these are just some of the credit factors. I wanted to explain them pretty simply for you guys. So if you guys do like the video or have any questions, like the video down below, comment, we'll answer your questions, as well as subscribe. We come out with content very often for you guys. Just remember, it's always us versus herd, so join us.